Many former patients stay in touch with Charlotte Gerson and form lifelong friendships. One of these people is Debbie Wagner. Debbie was
diagnosed with ovarian cancer 9 years ago, stage 3B. My dad had told me about the Gerson therapy, and I did research. I was planning to do chemo, and my dad had told me about this, and during the research I found out that the best way to cure yourself is to do it the healthy way, not put more poisons into your body that would kill you. And that's what chemo did, is it kills your body, the good cells and the bad cells. Where the Gerson therapy, it rebuilds all your good cells so that it will be able to digest all the bad cells and get rid of them. I did the therapy, and it's 9 years, and I'm cured. I have not had any reoccurrence of cancer. I was given the diagnosis from my doctors, and when they told me that I have the ovarian cancer, they had told me I had 6 to 9 months to live. And you know, when I didn't want to go against the doctor. When you have panic attacks, you believe in your doctor. But I believed in the Gerson therapy more, and I went for it. And when I go down to UCLA, and that's who did all my blood work and my MRIs to check to see if everything was okay, I'd go into my doctor, and he'd just look at me and he'd say, "I just can't believe you're one of my cancer patients. I don't have cancer patients that come in with all the oomph and enthusiasm that you have and the energy you have." And that just really made me feel good every time I went in there. And seeing the patients that were in there, I did not look like a normal cancer patient. And to me, I have Charlotte and the Gerson therapy to thank for that, because if I would have done the chemo the way I was supposed to, I truly, truly in my heart just don't think I'd be here. When I was diagnosed with cancer, I knew of 3 other ladies that had the same cancer I had, and they also were given the 6 to 9 months, and the longest one of them made it was 9 months, and they all 3 did the chemo. And I'm the only one here 9 years later, and I turned down chemo.
I'm Shantice. I'm Debbie's daughter. I was 12 years old when my mom was diagnosed with cancer. One of the girls that I grew up with, we took our summer and made my mom's juices every day, and helped my mom when she was doing the coffee enemas. You know, we'd go in there and play cards with her to try to get her mind off of it, and she would do her coffee enemas at night, and she wouldn't be able to sleep. So she would wake me up at like 2 in the morning and say, "Let's go to Walmart."
I'm Steve, Deb's husband. When I first came into Deb's life, it was several years ago, and when we first met, I was so touched.
There is for Charlotte a reluctance to get emotionally attached to any single case, since there have been thousands, but occasionally a phone call will leave her effervescent with cheer, as in a case recently in Colorado. 12-year-old Stephanie was diagnosed 6.5 years ago with Wilms tumor, a kidney cancer seen only in children. Her parents agreed to do immediate surgery. The surgeons removed the right kidney, but during the surgery it was discovered that the cancer had spread to the vena cava, the principal vein draining the upper portion of the body. But the claw of the cancer had not ended there either. It was discovered that the lungs too were riddled with cancer, and more horrifying still was the revelation that the cancer had made it all the way to the right chamber of her heart. The surgeon then opened her sternum and started with removing the tumors from her lungs. From there he moved to her heart, and in open heart surgery removed the tumor from her right heart chamber. The procedure took 10.5 hours. For the next 4 years, little Stephanie's ravaged body endured a total of 16 surgeries and massive amounts of drugs, chemotherapy, and radiation. But the powerful forces of cancer returned, again and again, with a vengeance. Now even her liver was invaded by cancer, and both lungs were also reclaimed by the seemingly immortal and unstoppable disease. By this time, Stephanie was a bald skeleton, drained and reduced to the weight of a feather.
The doctors at Valley Children's told us that she's not going to be able to the cancer was back and she's not going to make it.
So my mom, she heard about this alternative stuff. So first we went down to Tijuana and met Mrs. Gerson and learned more about the diet. And so we went back home, and then I think it was January something. We were down at the Gerson, and we were doing the diet for about 2-3 weeks, I think.
I had come down there sick myself with Candida, and like the second week I started noticing that all the juices and coffee breaks and all that stuff that I was feeling better. I had regular yeast infections all the time, and they were clearing up.
Yeah, then we started on the diet, and I started feeling better after having been hypoglycemic, and just felt better, more energy.
And the food, at first I thought it was kind of weird because it kind of looked weird. And the soup didn't taste that good at first. But after like a week, it started tasting better. And so we went back home, and let's see. And we've been doing the treatment and for 2 years 2 years since this January.
From that point on, hope returned, and life began to change for the entire family. Even the dog was happy again. For now, this is obviously not a report of a totally cured patient. Stephanie has a long way to go. But the poisons are now being excreted, and her body is building itself back up with powerful enzyme and nutrient forces. She is on the road to recovery. But where Stephanie's Orthodox medical doctors had only given her 6 months to live 2 years ago, she has now astounded them and, of course, confounded them.
Let's go. I've been feeling lots better. I've been having more energy when I was on the diet. I am on the diet. And I feel very healthy and stronger and much better than I did.
This past spring, rosy-cheeked Stephanie and her little sister visited Charlotte. Charlotte observed that they ran around playing and enjoying life as though the scourge of cancer had never visited this resilient child. For many patients like Stephanie that are under Gerson therapy care, an in-depth series of laboratory tests are taken to adjust the therapy precisely to the needs of the patient. There are also non-toxic, non-pharmaceutical supplements called biologicals that are utilized in a greater or lesser measure depending upon the patient's condition. One of the most important of these is a natural potassium mix of potassium gluconate, acetate, phosphate in equal amounts that Dr. Gerson put together after doing nearly 300 experiments. It is extremely beneficial to restoring the potassium in the body's cell systems that was lost due to most people's unrelenting use of inorganic sodium, such as found in table salt and hidden within everything from processed foods to toothpaste. Table salt is a poison, and even though iodine is that needed by the body, adding it to table salt destroys most of that value. The use of inorganic sodium causes displacement of potassium found naturally in human cells, leaving them vulnerable to attack by diseases.